Okay, just figured out that my camera on my telephone is a little bit better resolution than the flip camera that I've been using in the previous videos. So I'm going to use this and talk a little bit about System International, or SI. If you're from Sugar Hill, that's System International, or the metric system, and the U.S. Customary system. As an automotive technician, we have to learn to live in both of those worlds, and it's really not that difficult. There's some conversions that we may have to do and so forth, but since I want to do these videos in little snippets rather than string them out for an entire class, I just want to focus right now on the tool that's in your view, which is a steel ruler. In the automotive industry, we use steel rulers because they're durable, accurate. We can't really do precision measurement with them, but we can do some very rough measurements that we need to make with steel rulers. So let's just discuss that for the moment. The steel ruler in front of you, as you can see, is turned over on the U.S. Customary side, and so you can measure and it's a 12-inch ruler. I'm not showing you but 3 inches of it, but as you can see, 1 inch here is divided down into a 32nd scale. So there's 32 of these little tick marks making up that 1 inch. On the bottom scale, you can see that there's twice as many of those tick marks, and that's 64. So those are 64s. And most of the time, people making measurements with rulers are only interested down to the 16th of an inch. But since we deal with a lot of steel, metal, where there's not a whole lot of room for error there, because you can't take a hammer and just beat it into place if it's a little bit off. So we have to be a little more accurate with our measurements. Now, on the other side, we have the metric system. In the United States, eventually, like everybody else, there's 3 countries right now that's still immersed in the old U.S. Customary system. That's us, Myanmar, Liberia. Rest of the world's already converted over, or are in the last days of the process of converting over. Neither here nor there. Until it all happens, we have to learn both of these systems. The important thing is to know that they're 2 different systems. They're not equal. There is a conversion you can do to go from one to the other, which we'll do a lot in physics, because we'll have to be in SI in order to work our science. But in the automotive world, you're going to probably wind up on both, but you're going to work strictly in one system, or you're going to work in the other, and there's really no need to do any conversions. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in my next little snippet. So let's just look at the ruler again. I flipped it over. We're on SI, or metric, and as you can see, the smallest measurement we can make here is 0.5 millimeters. So if you added up all of these 0.5s, you'd find that there are 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So there are 20 0.5 millimeters in 1 centimeter. Down here you'll find that there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 little marks for the millimeter scale. That adds up to 10 millimeters, or some people call it 1 centimeter. So let's clear this up. Now this is a 300 millimeter ruler. In fact, it goes out to 305 millimeters from one end to the other. That's the maximum, 305 millimeters, that we can measure with this particular ruler. But what I want to point out, when we do make measurements in the automotive world in millimeters, we're going to stay in millimeters. I realize that 10 millimeters is 1 centimeter, 20 millimeters is 2 centimeters, and so forth. We can see the 70 down here very well. So if I measure this bolt, I'm looking at that just approximately with what you can see. It's 70 millimeters long. I would not convert that and write down on my paper 7 centimeters. We want to stay just in millimeters, because most of the measurements that we're going to make in the automotive field, it's not practical to use the term centimeters. You do need to understand it. So that completes my little demonstration of how this ruler is divided and my little briefing about the two different systems. Again, it's important, if you start a measurement in one system, to stay in that system completely, whether it be U.S. Customary or it be SI. In the science world that we're going to be dealing with a lot, if it's in U.S. Customary, we have to convert it over to SI in order to complete our calculations and so forth. So let's try to keep that straight, and I'll show you in a later video what mistakes that students make when they take the performance test that'll show me that you understand Chapter 5 in precision measuring. Thank you.